Good evening, fellow ghouls and specters alike. It's your ghost host with the most, Tiki here.
And Blue Dragon 5, here to engage in some haunted holiday hijinks by trudging through the catacombs and dusting off the cobwebs. Smack me with a handle to recount our spooky selection of Halloween classics.
So light the jack-o'-lanterns, suit up, and grab the candy dish as we revive and recount tonight's spooky selection. Freakazoid. Candlejack! Alright. I honestly can't even think of something to riff this episode with, Dragon, because it's such a good episode.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, Candlejack!
Candlejack!
I'm gonna need more rope.
Alright. So, Dragon, I mean, God, we've been waiting a while to do this one. Of course, our second podcast ever was the podcast where we essentially sat down for like 4 hours and recapped every episode of Freakazoid.
Yep.
Oh, that was a good time. And so of course we've returned to Freakazoid a couple times before. I believe there was a Christmas episode we did.
Yes, we did the Arms Akimbo episode, In Arms Way, for Christmas in July, and then we did for last Halloween Hijinks, the one before that we did the House of Freakazoid, the Lon Chaney, the Lon Chaney Wolfman episode.
Suffice to say, I mean, we're both like huge Freakazoid fans. I think you championed it for me. Like I didn't necessarily like. I grew up with it, but I wasn't. It was kind of like on the fringes of how good it actually was until you kind of reintroduced me to it. Now I genuinely think it's one of the funniest animated series ever. And my God, if that Animaniac show can lead to Freakazoid, man, oh boy.
I'm gonna lose my mind if that happens.
That's what we're both hoping for, buddy. But yeah, Candlejack, very, very early on in the show's run, second episode, first sketch of the second episode, and oh my God, Dragon, this thing holds up so well. I mean, just we'll get into it. I don't want to kind of like spoil it, but just the way this thing just jumps around so much. There's one particular fourth wall moment that just absolutely I adore it. I don't even know what to say. I just think this thing's just hilarious. It's not scary in any way, shape, or form, but it's not meant to be. It's just a good old belly laugh.
Just imagine how serendipitous it is, Tiki. That was the second episode of Freakazoid. It was the second thing we talked about. And, of course, the second one we're doing for Haunted Holiday Hijinks within the spooky Halloween one. So it's a series of twos, my friend. So before we get into Candlejack, a little bit of like very snippet of background here. He's got little nuggets along the way, but just before we go on, so as said, the second episode of Freakazoid, Paul Rugg. So he wrote this as Tom Ruger was writing Dance of Doom. So as they were writing the first one, they're having such a good time with it. They already kind of got the series order at that point, I imagine. So Rugg's like writing the next one and just kind of off the juice of of Dance of Doom. Kind of a lot of really fun ideas found their way in here. So it's a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Okay. All right, let's dive right into it. Of course, it's not Freakazoid unless we start with Joe Leahy, the announcer.
Dragon, this episode is brought to you in
Screamo-Vision. A byproduct of this is the thing that cracks me up. I forgot to display. Here's the thing. I remember the footage. I forgot the reason for the footage here. A byproduct. We have this flowery little field. A byproduct of Holland's vast tulip industry, which is just.
The flowery field looks like something out of an Epcot Circle Vision film or something, Dragon.
It's just priceless. It's just.
So, like, before we even get into the episode, they're already kind of kicking ass in the joke department.
That's what I'm saying, and I forgot all about that. We literally talked through all of this for 4 hours. Like, that's what I'm saying. Just a byproduct of Holland's vest. I don't know. It's just, we're out, hands in the air. It's like, let's just leave. All right, so this absurd. Like, this is where Screamo-Vision comes from, the tulip industry. Anyway, so this prompts, basically, we're going to be prompted for us to scream, for us, the audience, to scream. So basically, a little disclaimer comes on the screen: scream. Like,
Scream.
ah! We use a clip of like an old obscure clip from House on a haunted hill.
Oh.
So it's like, so we've set it up. So thank you and enjoy. So then we have a title card. Of course, another thing, a little similarity Freakazoid has with Batman the Animated Series. The original run has title cards.
Sure, sure.
All right. So we're at camp. When am I gonna go home?
Then we see the owl hooting at the camera. Scream. Ah!
So also Paul Rugg, that camp sign gag. When am I gonna go home? Paul Rugg hated camp. That's why that's there. Okay, so we're at the camp. We have
These children are very afraid of wood, Dragon.
that they are. They're like
These
green.
kids would not like the log from Ren and Stimpy.
It'd be a horror ad for them. Also, it's like they're all Alan Scott. They're all like the original Green Lantern had the wood weakness. It's like it's worse than kryptonite. So it sounds like we're getting him in that new Green Lantern series to do on HBO Max. That's gonna be interesting. All right, so we're doing. Of course, here's the most Halloween-ish sort of, the most creepy thing we have here. We're doing a little campfire story. The old spooky stories around the campfire, and they have the Wood Runner with the scariest. What would be the scariest thing in the world? And of course, I believe Buzz here, the first. The scariest thing in the world would be if all the air turned to wood.
Okay, now I will admit, Dragon, just the mere concept of that, if you actually break it down and think about it, is a little horrifying.
Well, yeah, because we'd all just be instantly dead because the air turned to wood. It's.
I'm just saying, like that would be so much wood. It'd be like the planet just spontaneously combusting into wood.
Yeah.
All right.
It wouldn't be sure. Okay, so then we have a little girl here saying, "Okay, the scariest thing in the world would be if you went to grab something and it wasn't there." Initially, they're all looking at you. Wait, what? How's that scary? Because it turned to wood. They're all getting a little ooh scary. Then Freakazoid rule of threes comedy. Freakazoid comes in now. Just like this random little campfire jamboree. It says, the scariest thing in the world would be if they gave Sinbad another TV show, and it's too scary for the kids. They're out, man.
They just go straight to bed.
They all run to their little cabins. So then we reveal Freakazoid. Why is Freakazoid there? He's there visiting the kids on behalf of his girlfriend, Steph. So, so thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule to visit the kids. I'm sure they enjoyed. And then, of course, off in the background, we hear them all screaming bloody murder. Like, ah! Still traumatized.
She gives him a little kiss. Scream.
Ah! And Freakazoid's like, hey, knock it off. I'm trying to get my kissy face on here. All right.
Well, I better get going for somewhere. There are wrongs to right and foes to fight. And there's a little chunk of carrot in your teeth. I'd have that taken care of. It could lead to insanity.
God, I will never get tired of listening to Paul Rugg. This is why we're so lucky we got that Earth to Ned show now. Just again, if I need a little new Paul Rugg, I got it in my corner. So, okay, when will I see you again? This is great, little fourth wall break. Is this the fourth wall break you're talking about?
No.
There's good ones too. You mean the big? You mean
blatant fourth wall break?
You mean literally the big awesome one? Okay.
Yes.
Sorry. Okay, I just want to be sure. I'm sorry. This is also another good one too. It's just, well, knowing my cartoons, and I do, I'll be back later to rescue you from something really, really horrible. All right. So and then we have Tia. Remember, this is the beginning of this joke. This is the start of it. So Freakazoid tries to fly off. Like, up, come on up. He can't do it. And then Steph points out, Freakazoid, you can't fly. He says, oh, right, forgot. So then he does the whoosh. So folks, kids who are watching this, so Freakazoid doesn't fly. He doesn't bolt around, unless he kind of forgets about it. But his version of flying is just running around with his arms stretched out. Whoosh! It's so hilarious. They had Paul Rugg had to demonstrate this all the time to the animators. They brought that. They literally say, "Hey, Paul, show him the thing," and he just runs around. Whoosh. God, it's so funny. Oh, what a joyous time for animation. So the kids are still a little haunted by
Oh God.
the Sinbad story. One of them's like, I'm still scared. You think it was true? That the thing about Sinbad getting another TV show. I think it's gonna happen. Think it's possible.
Nah, the broadcasting industry has all sorts of safeguards to prevent that sort of thing.
Says
The guy
Jeff.
you really got to watch out for is Candlejack.
Candlejack. He says, yeah, he's a boogeyman, but for real. And basically, long story short, he steals kids at night from their beds, and he takes them to some secret place, and they never come back. And this is such great laden. One, we're doing like this really intellectual conversation between kids about Sinbad, but then
Right.
we go to this, then we just go to this great sort of this great sort of judgment call on Candlejack, which cracks me up. Says, why does he do it? Because he's a nut. It's great. Well, how does he get you? Oh, that's the best part. He can't unless you say his name. So the point is, we're playing by Candyman rules here, can't or Beetlejuice rules. One could say, if I'm teeing something up, which you'll never know.
Subtle.
Maybe. So, he can't get you unless you say his name, and then they both have like a beat passes by, and they have the realization, wait, Buzz? We did say his name out loud. Well, maybe you didn't hear. And then who enters the episode?
Candlejack.
Hello, boys. So let's talk about. So Candlejack is a great design, one of the Bruce Timm designs that they kind of retrofitted for Freakazoid. Jeff Bennett doing the voice. He's kind of like an executioner get up meets a ghost with holding a little candle. just I love how minimalist it is. Yeah, it worked. Like as a boogeyman goes, not scary, but like enough to be like a boost kind of scary. It's like a simple boo scary for Halloween. You know?
Yeah. It's a nice design.
Scream. Then the kids, like, then we have this fun sequence of, all the kids in the bunker are in a little cabin are waking up, and it's like, oh no, Candlejack, as they keep saying his name. Care to join us? So it's a little pleasant Candlejack.
I didn't say your name. I said Applejacks. I want some Applejacks.
Yeah.
Right? Oh yeah, you definitely just say Candlejack.
Oh. Which is just great. And then this is my favorite part. There's so many good. I can't say my favorite joke in the episode. There's so many overshadow it. It's just so many good ones. But I love this bit where Steph and the girls are hearing all the ruckus, and they wake up and says, "Candlejack," and then we just have this perfect delivery by Jeff Bennett saying, "I'm gonna need more rope." That smile, that little sewn-in smile on his face, and of course. So then we have a brief interlude from a rebuttal, more accurately. We have a rebuttal from Dr. Gunther Hunter-Hanken. Sorry, Dr. Gunther Hunter-Hanker. Sorry, that's it. So, of course...
playing the Marge Simpson role, Dragon, where Marge Simpson used to come on to the Treehouse of Horrors and basically, like, warn people, like, oh, this is not for children. You're going to see scary stuff. So, this guy, he's basically like, oh, I take umbrage with the... yeah, you do it better, Dragon.
Did this voice ring true? Did this voice remind you of anyone?
Oh, tell me who it is.
It's literally it's Kemp from Young Frankenstein, because Paul Rudd loves Kenny Mars. It's Kenny Mars, the monster hunter with the wooden arm, and the Frankenstein. He will regret the day he was born a Frankenstein.
Gotcha.
What? He will regret the day he was born a Frankenstein. That guy. We basically made him look exactly like that guy too, which is great, the monocle and everything. Okay, so he's basically saying, commenting what we just saw. This is like a bag-headed man scaring children and trying to have a nice and happy time. It's impossible for a boogeyman to get you by saying Candlejack. And of course, Candlejack shows up in the studio. Then again. So now Dr. Hunter Hanker has been captured. Paul Rugg's big old wish list completed there. So, then we have the real gag of the episode. Oh my goodness, how can it get any better than this, kids? I'm going to tell you how. Buckle up, sit down.
I mean, this is just classic Cosgrove, man. It's prototypical Cosgrove in the best of ways.
This is when Cosgrove, like, Paul Rugg loved Cosgrove so much in Dance of Doom when he popped up for the first time. This is when it becomes a running gag. This is when they get the idea to bring him back all the time. Because Ed Asner didn't know he was coming back to do a recurring role. He didn't know. He just thought it was coming in for Dance of Doom because he does a whole bunch of cartoons, and he's like, nope.
Right.
And he's again, every time he comes in, like they tell him, "Don't act, just say like basically do a cold read," which is just which is just with the driest. And again, John P. McCann is one of the greats, the Andrew Stanton of the Freakazoid writers' room, the most genius deadpan writer that ever walked the earth. With this Cosgrove runner, hey Freakazoid, want to go to the Honey Harvest Festival in Akron?
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, do I? Yes, yes, yes!
Are you serious? Yes, yes.
Oh god.
So then we cut like Akron, Ohio, I guess.
Right.
For the Honey Harvest Festival, but they're having. I love the design. I love how much design work they put
I
into.
love Cosgrove. He's just like he's still just as nonchalant as ever, but he's got the little beer antennas on, and he's got the honey hive bug.
I just love every time we do these games. One, I just love the mundanity, I just love the absurdity that basically our Jim Gordon rooftop scene back then is always like a random like little aside. It's completely disparate from the rest of the episode, and it's just this great little, it's just this, so much design and thought is put into this one location. Like, yeah, look at it, we got a bunch of little bee balloons and little honey mugs. It looks quite fun.
Yeah, yeah.
I'd never go there because of the bees of it all, but still, it's quite fun. It's just like it. Anyway, so Kaz Revenge after that. Freakazoid, he's had a day, man. I love that in this episode that we'll never see. It's just I can't remember having so much fun. Cosgrove overdid it with the honey, and then of course the exposition comes in here. Says, "Oh, by the way, Freakazoid, Steph and the kids got captured by that spooky boogeyman guy." Oh.
I love that Cosgrove just kind of like throws that out all nonchalantly, like, "Oh, by the way, you should know this." Yeah.
Yep. The kids got captured by that spooky boogeyman. I just love spooky boogeyman guy. It's just so because again, he's not saying anything, otherwise he'd be captured. It's just great. I think I should go help him. I would, but that's me. So
Freakazoid whooshes off, and then we get a really fun quick gag where the Freakazoid head that usually goes towards the camera and transitions bumps into the camera.
it's great. Sometimes they shake that up, and it's like, oh, it sounds like he's getting or like he hits it or stuff. That's fun. Okay,
Right,
so
so big finale, Dragon Candlejack. He's got all the campers all wrapped around. I don't know what I'm going to do. I've never gotten so many at once before. You're not a very bright group, are you?
what is that supposed to mean? Then we have this great passive-aggressive moment with Candlejack. Oh, nothing. Just trying to be polite, I guess, but still, it's like, you guys really should have been a little smarter given the whole Candlejack lore of it all here. You really should have. All right, so then this is the gag. I completely forgot about this, Tegan. I was rolling on the floor laughing when I heard this joke.
Oh, this is absolutely what I was talking about, Dragon. I think this is absolutely the gag of the episode.
No. I mean, no, I mean the. I'm not talking about the Jerry Lewis thing. I'm talking about right before that.
Oh God. Okay. Oh God.
Okay, we're in there. I completely forgot about this, Tiggy. The whole I'm going to charter a bus, believe it or not. Just the fact that Candlejack has to charter a bus. I just completely forgot about that. So, Freakazoid shows up. He gets captured because it's like, I'm basically trying to greet his foe and everything. Of course, Freakazoid, don't say his name! What? I was just going to say cut to, he's all roped up. And like, Freakazoid, why did you say his name? And Freakazoid's rationale before we get to the big money of it all, T, which I'm going to turn over to you, buddy.
Okay.
Right before before that, he just says, "Oh yeah, I want to do the thing. You ever see F Troop when Agarn is in a dress? Like, never put me in a dress. I'll never put on a dress." And then we cut to him in the dress. And then we used the actual clip because they realized Warner Brothers had the rights to the clip, so they could use it. Hello, brothers! It's literally Agarn in a dress from F Troop. And Candlejack also loves that bit. So how the heck is Freakazoid gonna get out of this dire straits as Candlejack's going off to charter a bus? Well, Tiki, what happens?
Well, he'd like to take a minute. He'd like to take a minute to thank everybody working on today's show. So he just literally like opens up the rope that he and Steph are tied to, just steps out of it. Oh God, Dragon. I walked on set today and everyone looked at me and said, "We're gonna have fun. We're gonna have fun." And then Joey Leach, this guy, tell me he's not great. Tell me he's not great. Go ahead. You can't do it, right? You can't. You can't. And then, of course, this is the one that caught me. And then you got Eddie Asner, a bear of a man, a huggable god.
Kiss him.
Kiss him. Mwah. And Kenny Mars, funny. And these kids, I mean, have you ever been more filled with joy being around kids? Whether they're religious, experimental, or not. I love them. We'll hug after the show, all right? I needed that.
So, of course, by the way, Paul Rudd, of course, he does wonderful Jerry. Of course, everyone knows him for the traditional Jerry Lewis on Animaniacs,
Uh-huh.
which he's applauded for. But I love he's doing the serious Jerry Lewis here. He's doing like the telethon Jerry Lewis here,
Right.
which is just genius. Again, this whole fourth wall break, it's just golden. Again, I love the idea in Freakazoid,
But
especially in the.
that I can't get over.
See, what's great about this too is that in the second season of Freakazoid, they kind of Spielberg wanted him to do more story-like stuff, like keep it simple. Where in the first season they were able to go a little bit more all over the place, a little more Ren and Stimpy, as it were, in terms of like how much we can get away with. Like, we don't have an ending here, so let's just wing it. we just
Right.
And then how does it get any more winged than how much more random can it get for an ending to an episode? We kind of paint ourselves into a corner, like how the heck is Freakazoid gonna get out of this? And then we cut to Paul Harvey, because the kids love Paul Harvey, don't they?
Naturally.
Okay, so see what happened here is John P. McCann and Paul Rudd doing a little walk and talk, and they were talking about the Peabody Awards, which Paul Harvey was honored at the Peabody Awards, and Freakazoid, I think, was maybe kind of brought up during that or something. I forget exactly. But the point being, Paul Harvey, just the recapper, the radio personality that he is. He does a lot of talking. So they figured, okay, why don't we have Paul do his impression of Paul Harvey and just just end the episode? So this is just a string of wonderfully summarized comedy here, where it's like, that's right, we just have Paul Harvey sitting at a desk where he says, like, that's right. Freakazoid had a plan involving steel and mortar, bricks and pie. For what Candlejack could not know was that Freakazoid had secretly constructed a terrifically treacherous trap in the wild, windy woods. And of course, we see like Freakazoid's built a cage with a camouflage tarp, and like put a giant pumpkin pie in the middle of it with like big old cartoony scent lines. Smack me with a handle. Okay, so here's the thing behind Smack Me with a handle. So Paul Rudd does a little, like many voice actors, you do like a warm up for an impression or a voice or something. Like you say a couple words that get you into how that character sounds, right?
Uh-huh.
So that was he didn't know this. They kept his warm ups and they put it in the episode because they thought it was so funny. Like he had no idea. That's why it's just a random cut to it, like a close up, and then we go back to the clip.
Yeah.
Smack me with a handle. When the big boogeyman went to charter a bus, he was led by the aroma of plump pumpkin pie. And then we have
how pumpkin pie is the thing that defeats the villain dragon.
Again, also a little festive, a little pumpkin-y.
Indeed.
And then, of course, we have the money line of the whole thing. I think there's a thumbtack under my fanny.
God.
So finding the pie, it was trapped in a cage. Thus the spell was broken. The children were rescued, and a wonderful celebration ensued. Then we just have this random clip of lederhosen-bound Germans slapping each other slap happy, if you will, live action. And now you know the rest of the episode. Goodbye. So now we have a little coda here with Freakazoid and Steph. It's like, hey, you saved us. I'm a superhero. It's what I do. And they go for a little kissy. Then the scream comes back. Scream. Ah, I said knock it off. And then we have this great last final image of Candlejack somehow, I don't know how, Candlejack somehow tricked Paul Harvey into the cage. We just have him like, oh my.
Oh God. And that's it. Candlejack's free, but whatever. It's not like Candlejack. Like, it's not like that was the whole conflict of the episode or anything.
Because Paul Harvey wanted pumpkin pie too.
All right. Okay, so final thoughts, Dragon. This episode, it's just nonsensical in the best of ways, man. I mean, season 2 definitely has some gems in it, but I really think the heart of Freakazoid was in season 1 with all this, all this non sequitur kind of like experimental sort of really, really going outside of the lines of typical comedy storytelling in the best of ways. I mean, this is just 11 minutes of pure just insanity in the in the most complimentary way I could put that word. I mean, it just fires on all cylinders with just all gag after gag. It's barely creepy at all, but it's definitely not intending to be creepy. It's just I feel like every gag kind of tops itself. It really just kind of goes for like it really ratchets itself up, and I feel like that that Jerry Lewis thing at the end is kind of like the big punchline of everything, I think. But yeah, just overall, one of the more memorable Freakazoid bits. Of course, nothing will beat the little motorboats just because of how uber specific that is.
Yeah,
But
nothing's gonna beat the little motorboats.
but it's up there. It's up there.
Not the little motorboats.
I'm just saying that is so uber specific that only if you're a Disneyland buff will you know about the little motorboats. Anyways.
Yeah, final thoughts for me. It's very simple, very funny, fun spin on the campfire story. Just kind of gone crazy, which is wonderful. It's the second episode that establishes essentially the rules of Freakazoid going forward. Rules in quotes, mind you, but still just kind of the rules. Like we have Cosgrove, we have some really fun stuff, and we just go off the walls. We kind of said like the whooshing. We get a lot of stuff from this episode. It's wonderfully absurd and really fun to revisit. And I mean, Screamo-Vision. Need I say more? Honestly.
All right, folks, that's the end of tonight's spooky selection, and our spirits grow weary. But they'll be stronger than ever next time as we engage in even more haunted holiday hijinks. Scream.